Hi everybody, I'm Amy from the Cauldron, and I'm going to be dyeing today this 10-gram mini skein of yarn in this beautiful blue dye. This is Frozen from Dharma Trading. Now I'm going to do this a little bit differently today. Normally I'd pre-soak this yarn, but I'm not doing that today. I'm just going to pop it straight in the pot. So here is one of my dedicated dye saucepans. I don't use this saucepan for any food preparation. Now I've just dissolved 0.1 of a gram of powder dye into some water. It's very difficult to weigh out 0.1 of a gram, but since I'm only dyeing 10 grams of yarn, really don't need that much. There we go. This is cold tap water at the moment. And this, I'm just going to plop it in. Normally you would pre-soak your yarn because that helps the dye to more evenly distribute throughout the yarn. But that's not what I'm hoping for with this. You can see it's dry and it's all twisted up. So what I'm hoping to do is that the twist will create some nice resist marks. So we'll get some nice dark blue in patches, pale blue patches, and maybe we'll even get some white patches. That would be really nice. So I'm just going to submerge it a little bit just to help. This yarn is 55% wool, 35% alpaca. It's not superwash, so it means that means I've got to be extra careful when it comes to heat and agitation, because then it could, I don't want to felt it. Add 1 teaspoon of vinegar in there and just put the heat on. I'm just going to leave it like this now, and we'll bring it up to a simmer, and I'll keep an eye on this, make sure it doesn't start boiling, and I'm just going to leave it for however long it takes for the wool to absorb all that dye in there. This has been on a low heat for about 20 minutes with the lid on. Let's have a look. Yeah, this is perfect. As you can see, it's a bit steamy. There are some bubbles there. It's not boiling, which I don't want it to boil. And the yarn has just started to submerge onto the water. So I'm just going to leave this like this now for however long it takes for all the dye to absorb to the yarn. I forgot to mention earlier that this is a kettle dyeing method, just with a little bit of a difference. Normally you wouldn't have the yarn twisted up so much. In kettle dyeing you generally want aiming for a more even coverage of your dye, but that's not what I want with this. I want to have darker bits and lighter bits and maybe even some white bits left over. Okay, it's been little over an hour, and you see there is still some dye in there. I have put a little bit more acid in. I didn't check, I just squirted some vinegar. But I think we've probably got about as much dye on this yarn as possible. But if you pick it up, you can see in there that there are some pale patches in there, which I'm really happy about. So what I'm going to do now, turn this off and let it cool down, and I'm going to save the rest of this dye for another project. This yarn is now cool enough to handle, so I'm going to undo it. Moment of truth. Oh wow, look at that. We've got some nice dark blues, we've got some pretty white patches, we've got some pale blue. Oh, this is pretty. This is just cool tap water. I'm going to very gently wash this with a little bit of soap. This is just to get out all the excess dye and any extra vinegar in there. So I'm going to be very careful because I don't want to felt this, which makes it unusable for knitting or crocheting. Not much bleeding either, which is great. It's going to be really gentle. I'm just going to hang this out to dry now. Here is our finished mini skein of yarn. Isn't it pretty? I'm so happy with how this has turned out. I love the dark blue patches, and we've got fading into light blue. There's some very pale blue, and we've got some nice white patches as well. I think this technique has worked very well, and I'm very happy with it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please click like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I aim to produce a new dyeing tutorial every Monday. I like to experiment with different dyes, different techniques, different fabrics, so every video there will be something different. Thank you so much for watching.